morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and to all who are joining us online today. Let's begin our service with a beautiful musical prelude from Scott DeVoe. Welcome, friends, to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Reverend Tim Temerson. My pronouns are he and him. I'm pleased to be weaving worship this morning with my colleague, Reverend Susan Carlson, and music director Scott DeVoe. The sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I invite us now to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute and say hello, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Morning, everyone.
Hi there.
Beautiful day here.
Look at you.
Good to be here.
Oklahoma.
Hi, everyone.
Where are you, Linda and Frank?
Oklahoma.
Wow.
We're in Oklahoma.
Are you camping out?
Yes.
Great.
We're on a 4-month trip.
Excellent.
Lake Texoma,
Nice.
but not far from Dallas, so we'll be seeing the eclipse tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we hope to do the same from here.
Yeah.
I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Wow. I heard that.
Wow.
Got it.
We'll be looking for the eclipse tomorrow.
Yeah. We're going up with the McCormick Observatory people.
80 to 90%, maybe 80%.
80, I think.
Yeah. So Frank and Linda, that's so exciting.
Yeah. I had Oklahoma family too. I spent a lot of time out there when I was younger.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we're just over the
Special
border from
welcome
Texas.
to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Please feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which are for newcomers. And you UCville members and friends are reminded to offer a warm welcome to anyone with a red mug. We also invite newcomers to stop by the connections table near the monitor in the social hall to learn more about us. There is seating that's also available in the social hall where there's a live stream of the service. Of course, everyone is welcome here in the sanctuary, but if you need a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship both here and online, our greeters, our wonderful ushers, the hospitality team, and special thanks, of course, to the wonderful Rachel Buckland supporting the dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. And now we have greetings from our Board of Trustees, and today we are hearing from our Treasurer, Kay Frazier.
Morning. Welcome to everyone on this beautiful spring morning. Special welcome to our Zoomers. Sometimes I don't think we say hello to them enough. There's usually about 30 or 40 people Zooming, and thanks for Rachel's help for bringing them to our congregation this morning. So I have two things I'd like to lift up. One is our pledge drive. Since I'm your treasurer, you know I'm going to talk about this. And here is our number for today, over 495,000. So thank you. Thank you to Jimmy Gorham for being our pledge drive chair and all of those folks who work behind the scenes to make this a reality for this year. So thank you very, very much. Now, we would love to get to 500,000. So if any of you would like to help us get to that number, I'll be glad to talk to you in the social hall, or you can email me, and I'll be glad to make that happen with you. So what happens next with this number? Well, the Finance Committee and the board go to work and we develop our budget for next fiscal year, which begins July 1 of 2024 and runs through June 30th of 2025. That's why this number is so important, because it supports over 80% of our funding for our next fiscal year. So we go to work and we put this money to work for us to bring our love in action, or to action. And then once the board finishes the proposed budget, it will come to the meeting where we as members vote on that budget on June 9th. So mark that on your calendar. After our service is our congregational meeting. The second thing I really want to lift up is our annual spring auction, May 4th from 3 to 5. Thank you. And this is a really special event this year because it's going to be a picnic, a cookout. We hope the weather cooperates. But to make this happen, we need donations from all of you, so all of us can bid on those donations. So we're taking donations now. Get your donations in by April 19th. This is about meals, dinners, adventures, classes. It's about having fun with each other and getting to know each other in very social context. So there's also a table in the social hall where you can reach out to any of us about making those donations. So welcome, enjoy this beautiful day.
Thank you, Kay. Here are a few announcements this morning. For those of you who are relatively new to our congregation or to Unitarian Universalism, please know that today, after the service, beginning at 12:15, we'll be holding our monthly newcomer circle. It only lasts for 30 minutes, and it's just very informal, a chance to just chat about this congregation and about UU. I'll be there. Several of our lay leaders will be there. Now, I was going to announce that it's going to be in Lower Hall 3, but having stood outside and greeted, I think we ought to do it outside. So with that in mind, I'm going to make an executive decision on the spot here. We're going to do it on the patio right outside the social hall, the one that's over the Remembrance Garden. So if you're interested in coming to the newcomer circle, go to the social hall, and the door that's in the rear of the social hall, just go out there at 12:15, get your coffee and your popcorn, and join us out on the patio, and we'll enjoy this beautiful sunshine. And you don't have to have registered or anything. Just come on out and join us. It's a lot of fun, I promise you. So today's service, as you have probably heard, is multi-generational, meaning all ages will remain in the sanctuary for the entire service. Parents and caregivers, please know that there will not be any Sunday second hour today for the children. We apologize for any inconvenience, and second hour should resume next Sunday. Speaking of next Sunday is a food sharing Sunday, and we invite you to bring perishable and other food items, as well as cleaning products and COVID test kits to share with folks in our community whose budgets are really, really stretched. So that's next Sunday. Please bring your items in, and you can just place them right up here on the chancel, and we'll have an opportunity to do the kind of stuff that this church is all about. I had an announcement of the pledge drive, but I think Kay stole my thunder. Final announcement, are you looking for a fun way to get involved? Of course, everybody said yes. So why not join our usher team? The ushers are folks who prepare the sanctuary on Sunday morning for the service, who pass the plate and collect the offering, and all other kinds of really cool and fun stuff. So who are the ushers today? Elaine is an usher. Yeah, and I'm not sure where, I thought Elizabeth was, but she might have stepped out for a second. It's a really, really fun job. I think Elaine will, she's barely able to control all of her excitement right now. So now one thing we want, there's Elizabeth. Yeah, she's full of excitement as well. So one thing we wanted to mention was we're especially looking for new ushers who are families who would maybe like to usher on Sundays like this when we have multi-generational services. So if you're interested in being an usher and you're part of a family, you have young kids, sign up. It's a lot of fun. And then finally, of course, please join us in the social hall after the service for coffee and conversation.
Our call to worship this morning is Celebrating Abundance by Julian Ameaca Soto. All that we are together and individually is part of the abundance of the universe.
We are made of stars. We are made of earth.
All that we have comes from earth, from the labor of those in our communities.
From the cities, farms, and oceans that enliven us, the world and those who live in it.
We are surrounded by blessing, by grace, and by possibilities.
We are reflected in every human being.
We respect and honor one another's differences.
We celebrate our interbeing and abundance, celebrate our interbeing with abundance and with the practice of generosity. Come, let us worship together. I'd now like to invite the Duran family to come forward and light our chalice. And as they do so, please join me in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And let's now do our hand motions with the words. Put your hand out like this, light the match. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the Church of the Open Minds. This is the Church of the Helping Hands. This is the Church of the Loving Hearts. I now invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn. It's number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Please rise.
Well, many of you know what comes next. Please, all children and those young at heart, feeling particularly energetic today, come on forward. Any of you in.
Come on down. Don't be shy. Anybody?
Wow.
Any takers? There we
Come
go.
on, yes.
Thank you, Jimmy. Here come. Here, you have a friend. Here we go.
Come on.
Come on down. Yeah, there we go. Come on down. Yeah, if you have little ones who are a little shy, parents are most welcome and invited to come down with them. Beautiful. Thank you. Now, Jimmy, you don't have to sit here all by yourself. Isn't that good? There you go. There you go. It's good to have friends.
And you have lots of friends around here. Reverend Tim and I want to share a story with you this morning. Move this over so I can see all of you. Oh my goodness. So we want to share with you an ancient story. There it is. And it started long, long ago and far, far away. Some of you Star Wars fans might remember that, far, far away. And it was in the abode of Indra, the king of the heavens. And in Indra's abode, his dwelling place, there was a net, a beautiful, vast net that was much like our net that we have here. It extended across the whole sky from one end of the sky to the other. It knew no endpoint. And at each point in the net where it meets with another point, there was a node, and in there was a jewel that was like each of us, each living being being a jewel. And the net is infinite, which anybody know what infinite means? No end. It doesn't stop. It goes on forever. And it has been around forever, and it's going to continue. And there's an infinite number of points where it meets together. And so Reverend Tim and I wanted to show you these jewels, which you'll see more of later. But we're going to place ours on the net. There it is. So the beauty of this old story is that each of us everywhere, and every other living being, every other living creature is on this net. We're all there, every single person, every living being. And we've been connected, and we are connected on this net to each and every other one, to all of the jewels. It's kind of like, well, there's two ways that I think about Indra's net. One is that it's kind of like a spider's web, right? The spider's web that has all those threads and they come together and they meet up and they're connected. And one part of the spider's web will influence the other parts of the spider's web, right? If there's a little shaking there, then it's going to create something over here. And the other way that I really like to think about Indra's net is like it's a mirror. So when I look at this mirror, I can see myself, my own reflection. But at the same time, if I look really closely, I can also see reflected through that gem, each one of you and all the beings on the net, because we are all connected. So we have a kind of question for you. We want to ask you how you feel sometimes. How do you feel you're connected to others? How do you know who you're connected to? And how do you feel when you're connected?
Well, Reverend Susan, I feel connected in so many different ways. But one way that I feel connected right now is I feel very connected to you because we're both Unitarian Universalist ministers. We work very closely together and we depend on each other a lot. So that's one of an infinite number of ways that I feel connected.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we've been working on this story
Mhm.
all week long and found out
Yes.
all kinds of things that we have in common,
Yes,
but we've also found out some things that we do differently.
right. Absolutely.
So how about you all?
Yeah.
How are ways that you feel connected?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I feel connected to my family. There's a connection.
Yes.
Your family.
Connected to your family.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Parent, child, spouse, extended cousins, etc.
Mhm.
Brother.
The whole family.
The whole-
Yes,
whole.
absolutely. Connected to your whole family. Yes. Are there other ways people are connected? And we're opening it up to everybody in here. Just shout it out. Patty.
Patty,
Yes.
And then I think of also the times when I needed meals and I got meals and how connected I felt and feel.
Nice. For those of you on Zoom, Patty said that she feels very connected every time she gets an email from our CareNet ministry, which provides meals to folks in our congregation who can use a hot meal or two or three. And Patty says she's also reminded of when she's need to be the recipient of a meal and just how connected that's made her feel. Thank you, Patty. Anybody else have a connection they want to share? No? Okay.
Meg?
Go ahead.
I have friends that I bike with every Tuesday, and that feels like a wonderful connection. And some of us are really good bike riders, some of us aren't, and we help each other and have a fun time.
Nice. So Meg said that, I'm repeating all this, by the way, you all may be able to hear, but the folks on Zoom may not be able to because Meg is not mic'd. So Meg said she's a bike rider and bikes with friends and that she feels every week and feels very connected to them and that they are at different levels of ability as bikers, but they're still deeply connected. And that's what's wonderful. Julia.
Sing together, hear the music together.
Yes, absolutely. Singing here in the congregation helps Julia to feel connected. I thought I saw one more hand. Go ahead.
Several.
Yeah, several. Go ahead. Yeah, welcome. Oh, welcome.
Yes.
Nice.
We're all on this.
Yeah, you feel the UU connection from near and far. That's wonderful.
All the
We
way
feel
from
it
the
as well,
West
and thank
Coast.
you so much for being here today. We'll take one more. Lauren, I saw your hand up. Yes. Yes.
All the things that trees provide.
Yes. So Lauren said that she feels connected when she's outside in nature and especially feels connected to trees, which are beautiful and lovely and provide us with so much. And so thank you, Lauren. Absolutely. So I want to just say a quick word about Indra's Net as well. I want to show you this picture. Check this out. This is another depiction of what Indra's Net looks like, might look like. I just think this picture is amazing because there you can see all of those jewels. Well, you can't see all of them because, you know, the fact that it has such depth, it feels like to me when I look at it, that's what infinity kind of looks like to me. It just feels like it goes on and on and on. And see how everything, every one of those jewels is connected. And it's connected, as Reverend Susan said, not just to the jewel next to it, but to the reflections of all the jewels in the net. And I just wanted to mention really quick that IndrasNet, the story of IndrasNet comes to us from India. And it's a story that's very important in both Hinduism and Buddhism. Both of those religious traditions talk about IndrasNet. And what they say, although they're two different traditions, but what they say is that this is the picture of how life is. This is how Buddhism and Hinduism understands life. That while we are all at one level individuals, we're really not separate. We are one. We are connected in this net. So when you think about it, all the differences that we see in the world, they're really on the surface. Deep down, this net is reality. And I think that's very, very powerful. It's so easy for us to think about how separate we are, separate from other people, maybe even separate from our own best selves. But ultimately, we are all one and we are all connected. So that's the first part of our story. More about IndrasNet in a minute. So
More to come.
more to come. So including, I would add, more to come with jewels on the net. And you guys are going to get to help us out. So, all right, you can go back to your seats. Thank you so much.
We enter into a time of centering, a time of prayer, and so I ask you to join with me in that spirit. O Spirit of life within and all around us, we experience you in the star-studded sky high above us, stars shining like the jewels of heaven, like Indra's net that includes us all. In the sun that will be in shadow part of tomorrow as the moon makes its way in between the sun and the earth. We feel our connection to the growing green plants, to the leafing of trees, the budding of berry bushes, and every other wondrous living being. And our hearts go out to those who feel a tear in Indra's net today. We remind one another how we heal as we care for one another. Our hearts go out to those who are in pain or suffering in some way. And we spend just a brief time in silence, surrounded by the breath of life that is in us all. We enter into a time of silence. Amen. Blessed be. Shalom. Ashe. Om Shanti.
Friends, we are an interconnected community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts. So friends, just to let you know, we will not be doing our normal ritual of joys and sorrows. We're going to be doing a slightly different ritual a little bit later in the service. But I wanted you to know that we do have a pastoral care team member here today. That's Meg Dunham. Oh, there's Meg raising her hand back there. And please know that after the service is over, Meg will be right in the back corner of the sanctuary. There's a sign back there that says Pastoral Care Corner. Meg will be there for a few minutes if you are in need of pastoral support, or perhaps today you just need a listening ear. Those of you online, if you are would like to reach out to the pastoral care team, you can email pastoral@ucharlottesville.org. So now, friends, we're going to move into our morning offering. This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. And today we are beginning a new monthly social action collection, and we're beginning a collection for the Blue Ridge Abortion Fund. And it is my pleasure, great pleasure, to welcome back to UUCville BRAF's Executive Director, Stephanie Nash. Steph, welcome back, and please tell us all about BRAF's important work.
Good morning to you all. Delighted to be in good company again. Thank you, Reverend Tim and Reverend Susan, the UU Charlottesville congregation, the Social Action Committee, and one of BRAF's longest tenured advocates, supporters, and financial contributors, Miss Sharon. Yeah. On my drive here from Richmond, I thought about what I would say, as there's always so much to say in my line of work. For those of you who aren't familiar with who we are, at the core of our work, we provide financial and practical support for those seeking abortion care. That is those who live in Virginia traveling to a Virginia clinic. That is those who live in Virginia traveling to a non-Virginia clinic, which is typically Washington, D.C. or Maryland for those needing to seek longer-term abortion care. And then that is also to include those who are traveling from outside of Virginia into Virginia from heavily restricted and or completely abortion banned states, to which the latest now includes our friends in Florida, who just last week enacted a 6-week abortion ban to take effect next month. We operate on a $20,000 a week budget. Our intake lines are open Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 until 12. And we receive anywhere from 65 to 100 calls per week. And as you could imagine, that number would absolutely increase if we added more days and were able to extend our intake lines of operation. BRAF turns 35 this year. And while birthdays and anniversaries are seen as a time of celebration, the fact of the matter is that we've had to be in operation for 35 years, as abortion access is and has always been under constant attack. As it stands right now, Virginia is the only Southern state that has no state law, legislation, and or abortion banned for abortion care right now. Do you all know what that means? Oh, well, yes, that means that. But it also means that on top of us serving our communities throughout the Commonwealth, we are also serving communities from those states like Mississippi and Florida and the Carolinas and West Virginia and Alabama and Tennessee and Arkansas. So we are dealing with a teeter-totter of rights versus access. We don't simply have a reproductive rights issue, we have an access issue, as Roe was overturned just 2 years ago, but BRAF has been in existence since 1989. So that tells us that you can have a right to something and still not have access to it, which we often see right here in Virginia, Southwest rural Virginia, where we have people that still have barriers to access, even with almost 20 abortion providers throughout this state. But with all of that, and that's always the heavy layer, we do have much to celebrate and that we are excited about that I'm gonna share with you. For our 35th birthday, we have just completed a strategic planning process that outlines and guides our work for the next 3 years. We've added 2 pivotal positions to the scope of our work to now include a community engagement coordinator who will lead our volunteer program and development and community initiatives, and a communications development coordinator who will amplify the work and the voice of BRAF. engage our amazing donors, and keep folks abreast of how they can plug in and how we're doing. We have acquired and are relaunching Practicab, which is a volunteer rideshare network that is a committed group of folks who want to pick up and take people to their appointments. And we have committed ourselves to doing our work from a transformational, intersectional, reproductive justice framework. We absolutely cannot and have not been able to do this work without you. You look to your left and to your right and say, she talking about you. Look at each other. Yeah, there you go. Of the 35 years of our existence, 32 of those years, our organization was completely volunteer-led, which is the roots of our work. And it shows what the manifestation of what community upholding humanity looks like. And so that is something that we are very proud of. And as we are fully staffed now, we still rely on amazing people in our community to continue to help us uphold this mission. So thank you in advance for always considering us and supporting our work. I brought some physical impact reports so you guys can see more in detail, because Reverend Tim said I got 4 minutes. And so you can see it outlines where people's financial contributions go to and how we are able to move through this work. Jesse, who is BRAF's amazing operations director, and I will hang out throughout the rest of the service and will be available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you all for serving with us. UU's Charlottesville contributions help us uphold the heavy yet meaningful, impactful mission. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Steph. Rachel, will you please show us the social action slide for giving? So for those of you here in the sanctuary, if you would like to make a donation to BRAF right now, this is how you can do it, by texting. You can also go to our website, uucharlottesville.org. In addition to giving online, if you'd like to give today with cash or check, make the checks out to UU, the UU Congregation of Charlottesville. Please use the Social Action Collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plate. You can put BRAF in the memo line if you want to. Please do not seal the envelopes as we use them again. Please do give generously, as Steph just outlined, and as I think most of you know, the work that organizations like BRAF are doing is just absolutely essential, and now more than ever. Along with our social action collection, each week we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of this congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts and support sustain us. This is our shared ministry. And as you can see, you can pay your pledge or make a donation to the church online using this number. And then during the music that follows, you're also welcome to put cash or checks in the plate to support the work and ministry of this congregation. Let us now dedicate all the many gifts we share with one another by saying, we accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good.
So Reverend Tim, I've been thinking all this week, I've been thinking about the interest net.
Mhm.
And I'm considering that sometimes it doesn't feel like we're all together. It doesn't feel like we're all connected. It's sort of like there's a tear in interest net. There's something that pulls us apart, whereas we're all supposed to be together on this
Right.
net. It kind of looks sort of like this in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever thought about that or felt like that, or am I alone in that?
You are not alone in that, Reverend Susan. I think so many days it feels like the net is torn. And I think a lot about, why does this happen? Buddhism and Hinduism actually teach that the net is eternal, that it doesn't actually
Goes
get
on
torn.
forever.
But it feels like it's torn. It feels like we're not living as if we're connected. Why do we do that? I think the answer is that we lose sight of each other.
Hmm. Hmm.
The net remains strong and intact when we care for one another, when we care about justice,
Mhm.
when we reach out to those in need. That's what tears the net. The problem, I think, so often is us. It's us. And I have to tell you that one person who you know I like to talk about a lot and quote a lot is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I think Dr. King really understood this idea of interest net, although he had a different sort of image. He called it a single garment of destiny.
Mhm.
A single garment of destiny. And he said that because that garment, we're all connected, it means that the world somehow gets broken, gets torn, if you will. And he said the reason was because people sometimes don't reach out. They only care about their own little world and not the bigger world and not the needs and the brokenness that is in our world.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Well, you've talked about Buddhist and Hindu teachings and interest net, but there's another concept from Judaism that I think about here.
Yes.
And it is tikkun olam, that it's up to all of us, as you say, when we're feeling the tears, when we're feeling the suffering, when we're feeling the pain of others, to repair the world, to heal the world. And, sometimes it's sort of like this, isn't it? Isn't it kind of like that? That the world is suffering or hurting, and that some of us, or many of us in one place or another, are hurting. And so it'll take like not just a little Band-Aid, but a great, big, vast Band-Aid. And sometimes maybe it's the little Band-Aids all put together of each of us,
Absolutely.
And that's kind of tikkun olam, that it's the kindness that we can show to one or another when we see somebody hurting, when somebody has lost a pet, for example, or if somebody is sick, because this time of year still people are getting sick. And so how we can all give to one another, as Patty had said, with bringing meals or tending to one another, offering our hand or whatever we have in whatever small way. Nothing is too small or too grand that we can't do, each of us and all of us together. And
Mhm.
sometimes it takes a village, it takes a congregation, it
Yes.
takes a community to start healing and repairing the world or continuing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to throw open to all of you just for a couple of minutes. What are some ways that you try to mend the net? What are some ways, Patty mentioned CareNet, that this congregation, our community does? What are some ways that we can repair some of those tears? Just shout it out. Supporting the
Impact.
organization Impact, yes, which
Yes.
does wonderful advocacy work here in Central Virginia. Social action collections like the one today and that will go on for the month of April that offer essential support to wonderful organizations like the Blue Ridge Abortion Fund, which are doing their part to mend the net. Others? Nick? To vote, yes.
Oh my.
Yes, oh my gosh, yes. Voting, it almost feels like that if you don't vote and you choose not to vote, some people don't vote because their votes are suppressed, but if you choose not to vote, it's almost like you're stepping away from doing a little part to re-tie the net together. Feels to me that way, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say, see you when I end a casual conversation, like with somebody at the grocery store or something, because that implies the relationship.
Nice.
See you again.
Nice. So Ann Salamini says that whenever she ends a conversation, she always says, I'll see you again, because it suggests that the relationship that she's built or is building with another person will go on. And relationships, I think, they're really what repairs the net. Absolutely.
Environmental justice work, like the Ravenna Conservation Alliance.
Yes.
Planting trees, getting out the
Yes.
invasive vines, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. So yes, environmental justice work, working with wonderful organizations like the Ravenna Conservation Alliance, which this congregation does, and planting trees and doing all the things that are needed to be done to create or to help the web of life be sustainable. So Rachel.
Acknowledgement and apologies.
Acknowledgement and apologies, yes. Absolutely, acknowledgement and apologies. Meg.
Not assuming we know everything.
Ah,
Not assuming we know what others need.
mhm,
And listening.
yes,
Listening to our neighbors, like listening to Sinvereras,
yes,
a community organization, and asking them how we can help.
absolutely,
Not telling them.
Exactly.
absolutely. So yes, so not assuming that we know how to do everything and that we have all the answers, but rather listening. And that's the key, I think, to being in relationship. Absolutely. Patrick. Accepting when I'm wrong about something. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
We don't know it all, huh?
One more, Chris.
Getting close to people that we consider different from us, remind ourselves that they are equally important.
Yes, getting close to people who are oftentimes thought of as being different and getting closer, as Brian Stevenson says, being proximate. And I see Rachel's got one more.
I was going to say, if we are connecting everybody, do you want to see if anyone on Zoom has something they'd like to say?
Does anybody on Zoom have something that they would like to share? You can type it in the chat. Let Rachel know. Anybody? I was supposed to say that. Oh, what was that?
Welcoming newcomers fully.
Welcoming newcomers fully. Nice.
There you go.
Nice. Absolutely. Who was that?
I think it was Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes, of course. Thank you,
And
Frank.
Rachel, how many people do we have on Zoom? This is for the next step?
Today we had 32 people.
32
Oh,
people.
32.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right.
So,
Wonderful.
well, shall we
Well,
continue?
yes, let's continue. So I don't know if you all could tell, but I was repairing the net as you said things. So that was acting to put it back together a little bit, and each of our actions doing that. But let's not just talk about doing it. Let's actually do it. So we have an idea to do it in this church and how we can add a crystal jewel like these to the net. And so we're going to invite you all to come up in just a few minutes and to, they have some sticky part on the back. If you peel it off, you can stick it actually on a place on the net. But don't worry about that if you can't get it off, because it's kind of hard.
I can't get them. I can't get them.
Well, the first time I did it, I peeled the whole thing off. So I peeled all the stickiness off. So don't worry about that. It still will stick.
Yeah.
It will still will
Place it down.
stick. So what we're going to do is when the time comes, then come into the center aisle and form 2 lines and come up and take a gem from the basket, and then either place it, if you're coming up from this side, place it somewhere on this side. And if you're coming from this side, place it someplace on the net on this side. And then when you go back to your seats, then come back around and go down the side aisle.
Absolutely. And feel free, if you want to, you can walk up the steps and place it up there. Just be careful.
Be adventurous,
Be
but know
adventurous.
that
Yeah.
this net can kind of trip you up sometimes. So before we do that, though, we're going to sing a song. We're going to sing number 402, and there are some hand motions that go with this. It's From You I Receive, which is pretty familiar, even familiar to the children, because we sing it most every week. So there it is. So I'm going to help you with this. We're going to do it 3 times. So here's the hand motions. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. And now Scott's going to continue playing music as you all come up and gather your stones and
Come on
place
up.
them on the net.
Yes.
'Cause we actually did it,
But
didn't
actually-
we? Look at our jewels. Look at all of us.
And you know what, Reverend Susan?
We are
What-
beautiful.
I just realized something cool happened. When we had a couple of moments when somebody's shoe got caught, people who were here, along with you and me, would kneel down
Absolutely.
and readjust and repair the net.
We'd repair the net.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So they got it, right?
We
Reverend
really
Tim?
did. We
Yeah,
really
all
did. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you all so much for sharing in this ritual with us. So,
Yes, so I think we've learned some things about interdependence.
Yes.
This is our first Sunday on interdependence.
Yes.
And about how we are all connected in so many ways that we don't know. But now when we look at a spider web, or we look at a net, or we look in the mirror, then we'll remember that we are all connected, even when it feels like we're so far apart. We are here. It reminds me also of what Reverend Leah said before she left, that there is a red thread that connects us all, and that it doesn't matter how far away we are from one another, we are still all connected.
yes. Amen.
Amen. Yes. Okay.
You want to introduce So for our closing hymn,
Yes.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Join in singing hymn number 159. This is my song. Please rise. Reverend Susan, would you please extinguish the chalice? And for our benediction, I want to leave you with these words adapted from the Reverend Rebecca Parker. She says, "Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to sustain or tear the net. Our minds, our hands, our hearts, our gifts of speaking, listening, seeing, and so forth. Any of these gifts can feed someone who hungers, bind up someone's wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice. But these same gifts can also draw down the prison door, hoard food, abandon those in need, obscure what is holy, cooperate, and be complicit with injustice and withhold love. So you must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world and to be a shining jewel in the net of love. Blessed be, friends. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing this service with Reverend Susan and myself and Scott. Go in peace. I hope to see some of you at our newcomer circle. Enjoy the popcorn. Amen.
And I'm going to put some beads, some jewels on for the online people too.
Nice, nice.